What is up, guys? Welcome back. Let's get into it. Let's talk Monday Night Football. Two games kicking off at 8 p.m. Eastern and an 8:30 kickoff we have within the later game within Atlanta and Las Vegas. All right, so the Bears-Minnesota will be the first game on the card. I'll give you guys kind of a running of the board. We're going to get into the games. Make sure you guys all like, comment, and subscribe down below. Absolutely tore it up last night within the Sunday Night Football action, and looking to keep it going today. Hope you guys are all doing well. Getting rid of those some Monday rust is coming off, that's for sure. Okay, and let's get down into the picks. Now, this will be kind of interesting. I will have a video later on in the week. We have a lot of games this week. Thursday Night Football. The kind of holiday schedule gets a little screwy within the NFL. Some Saturday night games, Saturday games as well as the college football playoff commences on Friday. So go Irish. Let's get it. Let's talk about those games. Make sure you have that notification bell turned on. Follow me on X, all that good stuff. There will be tons of content dropping throughout the week. Okay. To do this, we are going to dive into Outlier, and I'm going to kind of rattle them off because we have two games, but we're going to go straight to the point, and I do like a few things. And there's a lot of that I don't like about these bets. So it's going to vary, but I think in these matchups, you're going to be able to place the best bets possible because I do kind of have this one honed in on a few angles that we're going to be talking about. The Bears are getting 7 on the road as they play a 11-2 Vikings squad, total set at 43.5. Now, this is where I do like Minnesota quite a bit. The white flag for Chicago may be starting to get raised a little bit. Minnesota has been kind of surprising, right? They hit a little bit of a lull, and then Darnold got hurt. You know, Justin Jefferson went on a cold streak in terms of maybe getting keyed in on. Who knows? But nonetheless, I think that the Vikings are peaking right before the playoffs. I think this is a good Vikings team, and I think they're going to show that at home in prime time against the divisional rivals, the Chicago Bears. Okay, I like Minnesota -7. This is late. We could have got 6s, even 6.5s. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't have a play in terms of the total, but I do like Minnesota quite a bit at -7. You can find a juiced up 6.5 if you want. But for me, guys, this will be a very big teaser play for me. A couple units that I'm going to be betting tonight on this avenue. I'll share with you guys a little bit down as we get into the Falcons-Raiders game because teaser to a teaser, we are going to kind of combine both of those markets. So, but I do like Minnesota quite a bit at -6.5. Let's talk about some props. All right, first we're going to talk about DJ Moore. This is one where you could look into the over in terms of his receiving yards. Comeback script. We talk about kind of the Vikings being 30th in the NFL of yards allowed, 32nd against wide receivers. I personally think this number is set way too low at 56.5. If you look at kind of his last 9 games versus bottom 10 defenses in terms of rankings of receiving yards allowed, he's averaging almost 80. I think 59.5 is or 56.5 is way too low. We're going to come off with a banger here because this is probably my favorite props in terms of wide receivers for the contest this evening. Okay, so DJ Moore going over touchdown market. You're going to really have to think about that one because it's not been the same DJ Moore that last year. We did have quite a bit of end zone appearances. I think he had like 3 or 4 in one game, breaking records. But with Caleb Williams, he's going to have to scramble a little bit. He's going to become mobile. He's going to have a lot of comebacks to DJ Moore. He kind of breaks free once that route breaks down. Always has the potential for the over-the-top play as well. So love me some DJ Moore over a way too low number, in my opinion, 56.5. Okay. And just food for thought, I will kind of go back into it for those of you that are wondering. Okay, last time they played Minnesota, he ended up with 106 receiving yards. So that was back on the November 24th game. So here we are, guys. Just a couple weeks ago, had 106 yards. So this is either the most fishy bet in the world or the easiest bet in the world, but taking DJ Moore over 56.5. And it's kind of funny because that number has moved down from 59.5 to 56.5. So kind of maybe a little sharper play towards the under, but this is almost a must bet for me. It's just way too good a value with the potential for a big home run kind of game for DJ Moore. So going over in his receiving yards. Next, let's talk about JJ, another storyline where we look at the Chicago kind of, I don't want to say rushing yards because they are a lot worse against the rush than the pass. Versus wide receivers, they do decent, okay? They allow the 10th fewest receiving yards against the wide receiver position. This one's kind of a play as well, kind of in value, all right? I found the rushing and receiving yards over 81.5, and the funny thing about it is it's not that much different than the receiving yards, okay? So if you can find the 81.5, it's offered at DraftKings, BetMGM, and Bet365. He has eclipsed this in his last 5 games at home. He puts on a show at home. I think he gets it done. They're going to be airing the ball out pretty well. Last game against, if we look at the head-to-head, he had 27 against Chicago. So maybe a little bit of an outlier, but got to take it. I think this is where different game script. They're at home. I like it a lot more playing at home than in Soldier Field. So we're taking JJ over rushing and receiving yards, 81.5. All right, that will be one of my best bets. Also, in the Chicago-Minnesota game, staying there, okay, we are going to take Caleb Williams over his interceptions. I got to do it. On the road, kind of in that screw-it mentality towards the season end. You look back into kind of his season, all right, and this is kind of interesting, guys, for a debut rookie. Okay. Caleb Williams' interception, he's only thrown 1 pick in his last 10 games. I was kind of shocked at seeing that. Now, if we want to look at kind of a more deeper analytic, bad throws per passing attempt, okay? He's averaging about 20% bad throws on an average of 31.6 passing attempts per game. Very interesting, okay? So that's kind of what you want to look for in terms of bad throws. Against Minnesota, he had 9 bad throws. So one of his more higher kind of scripts. The game that he did throw the interception was against Jacksonville, where he kind of had a more accurate, better game. Only 7% bad throws in only 29 passing attempts. I think he's going to have to throw the ball a lot against this Minnesota club. And that's why we're taking Caleb Williams to get a pick. They're just going to have more opportunities. You see last game on the 24th, he had 47 attempts. So I look for that to continue. The game script's going to be there. They're going to try to attack Minnesota through the air. And I think that this is just a play on value as well. Plus money right now you can take, minus 119 to get that over Caleb Williams interception. A lot of times it's not that low. And give me a rookie, basically almost even money. I'll take that one, and we're going to roll the dice for Caleb to get a INT on the road. As you look at Minnesota, glaring statistic, guys, 1.5 interceptions per game in terms of forcing interceptions. So that's kind of what stares off the page at me. This should hit, okay? It should. He's due. If a rookie can go 11 games with only 1 pick, that's simply impressive. But if he's going to throw the ball 40-plus times, I got to play the numbers. Even if it's on a Hail Mary, I still think that one of those balls gets grabbed by the Vikings defense. They lead the NFL in interceptions forced. So pressure will be there. It's just going to happen, okay? It's going to happen. I got a feeling on this one. So Caleb Williams over half interception. Next, I do want to talk about Brock Bowers because we're going to be staying away from this one. And I wanted to just bring it up on your screen because going against Atlanta's defense versus the tight end position, they allow the 8th fewest receptions to tight ends per game. And that's kind of where I think that, if we look at kind of the receptions, all right, you can see kind of it's been a little bit a lot of variance, right? He had a 2-reception game against Cleveland. And then he had 3 almost double-digit games in a row, dropping down to 5 double digits, 4 double digits, 3. Love Brock Bowers, great talent. He did well for me on fantasy all year, all season. But this is where if you look at the receptions, if you want to take an alt line over 5.5, I like that a little bit more. I just don't really see the value. That's just where I'm at. If you want to talk about touchdowns, probably a little bit better in terms of that. Also, the longest reception, I kind of like that even more so than his receiving yards. And I'm just saying this based off my numbers, my expectations. You guys can have your own systems, your own analysis. And if you think Brock Bowers is going to go off and get 100 yards in the air, then bet it. I just don't. I got to trust my numbers. I don't see it, so I kind of wanted to throw this out there. And when he goes for 8 for 120 with 2 tutties, don't come in the comments or the Discord tomorrow and blow me up. It's just my take. I'm fading Brock Bowers. Yes, he's on my fantasy team. Yes, I'm starting him. No, I don't care if I lose the bet. It's almost a pass. Okay, it's just a pass. You can't win or lose on a pass, and I'm fading Brock Bowers tonight against the Falcons. All right. And then as we get a little bit further down, I do want to talk TJ Hockenson a bit and Jordan Addison. Full disclosure, I don't like the props all that well in the Falcons-Raiders game. I just don't know what we're going to get in terms of a showing from both clubs. The only bet I do like out of that one is I do think Atlanta gets 3 touchdowns. Okay, don't know who's going to score them. Yes, probably Bijan gets in there, but I do like 3 touchdowns for Atlanta. So talk about coup, kicking points, PATs going over 2.5 PATs. I like that one quite a bit. Atlanta versus the Oakland Raiders. I think they find the end zone 3 times. So with my luck, he'll probably miss one of the bastards, but I do think that he gets a 3 through the upright in a form of an extra point. So that's kind of where I'm at within the props. A couple of things else about, let's get back up to TJ Hockenson and Addison. Okay, receptions allowed against Chicago. They do very well guarding the pass overall. And tight ends a little bit worse, averaging about 5 receptions per game to tight ends. Look at kind of the past performance when we go back to November. He had 7, okay? And at the time, they were ranked 3rd in guarding the tight end position. So this is kind of a coin flip. I could see Hockenson. I think we're getting a little bit of a value play here because of how good Chicago is historically against the tight ends this season. But for me, guys, over 3.5, I don't hate it. I don't hate it one bit. It's more of a gamble, though. It's not a lock. So if you want to go over Hockenson receptions, go for it. Because the one insight that I will share with you guys from Outlier, this is why I use it, why you guys should be using it. Free trial for 7 days down below in the description. Hockenson has exceeded 3.5 receptions in 14 of his last 17 games, okay? Simply put, guys, that's a stat line where I'll lay the $1.37. Don't really care how bad the Bears defense is. Also, Hockenson was not full go, off of injury all that well either. So kind of where I'm at. And that's where this is coupling a lot of statistics from the 2023 season, okay? But that's kind of where I'm at. It's a coin flip. It's a 50-50 proposition based on this year's numbers. And against the Bears back on the 24th, okay, he was able to grab 7 despite the Bears being ranked 3rd against the tight end position. So I don't mind this one bit. So riding Hockenson over receptions, that would be a very strong lean as well. Addison's the last one we're going to talk about. He's absolutely been crushing it. Sam Darnold, he chucks it up, gets a long third and go. It's basically we're 23.5 for his longest reception. Has been very profitable for bettors across the board. Look at the last 10 games, hitting 70% of the time. Right now they got a rapport. They're running plays for it, and with JJ maybe getting a little keyed in on. I think the Minnesota Vikings receivers eat today. So I'm going to lay the over 23.5 within Addison's longest reception. Because if you look at his numbers, when he hits it, right? 2 out of the 7 of his last 10 games, he hit it by 3 yards, but all the rest, they've been home runs, 51, 69, 49, and I'll even lump in that 47 and 29 in that equation because that gets you home pretty scot-free, okay? And kind of just to conclude, the best bet for these games, like I said, guys, outside of Minnesota, minus the 6.5, minus 6 if you want it. The way I'm going to play this game is I'm going to do a little crosstown parlay within the same game teaser kind of method, but we're going to apply that to each of the games tonight, where I'm going to be taking the Minnesota Vikings down to a pick'em. Basically just have to win the game, and you do get the Atlanta-Oakland game where we're going to go under in that one, okay? And by doing so, That's going to allow us to get a 51 in terms of a total. So Atlanta, Las Vegas, under 51. Couple that with the Minnesota Vikings. Basically, if you get the half point or the money line, whatever you choose, it just affects the odds a little bit. But it's essentially going to be Minnesota needs to win the game and under 51 points within Falcons and Raiders. All right. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Let's ride. Let's cash some tickets and stay tuned for more throughout the week. And we'll see you all in the next video. Subscribe down below. Peace.